Okay, we're back in full effect. We're gonna bring Baba Kessa on real quick. So just hang tight. All right. For those of you all just tuning in, we were just on a live just a second ago. We are dealing with technology to get Baba Wakessa on, but hang tight. It's worth the wait. Be patient. You know, patience is a great virtue. But I did a recap on the 30-day elimination diet challenge. Talked about what we talked about for week 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to bring Baba Wakessa on to expound upon the concept feelings as messengers, because at the end of the day, this anger, fear, resentment, guilt, shame, all of that are things that we deal with in our emotions, and these are feelings. And it was a powerful tool for me, so I took the chance of inviting Baba to come on, and he agreed. So I'm very grateful. So now we're just getting him on real quick. Okay. So please do just hang tight. All right. You all know we're dealing with Mercury retrograde, so gotta be patient. People laugh at me when I say that, and I'll be like, okay, I'm telling you what's true. I'm like, I ain't saying be scared. I'm just saying, just be cognizant. It's Mercury retrograde. Be a little bit more patient. Lord have mercy. If y'all don't know, like just traveling this week, I saw so many people frustrated, angry. Let me tell you, my flight was 10 hours delayed. My flight was 10 hours delayed. First thing I thought was, okay, Mercury retrograde. I just did what I needed to do, you know, canceled some meetings, moved some things around, and sat patiently. Got a lot of work done, caught up with a couple of friends I ain't been able to talk to in a minute because I've been busy. Took advantage of the time, but people was mad. They was angry. They were fussing. It was nothing that they could do, you know? And being in that present moment, I always talk about being in the present moment. They never know what they could have experienced if they didn't spend all of that time angry and fussing and you know, nothing really happening but them riling themselves up and attracting more things that's going to make them angry, because the more you vibrate on that frequency, the more you're going to experience it. So yes, we're in the middle of Mercury retrograde, and yes, Mercury retrograde does sometimes impact communication, transportation, technology, all those different things. So right now, we are just, I'm not saying that it's being affected right now because of Mercury retrograde, but we are using technology to try to get Baba Wakessa on. So we just have to be patient. In the meantime, between time, who online has been doing the work throughout this challenge, and what have you found to be impactful? What have you found to be one of the hardest things to deal with as you release the anger, the fear, shame, worry, resentment? What has been one of the things that you resonated with throughout the challenge that has helped you on the journey? I'd love to hear from you. We're going to have a day where we share our testimonials. So I'm very much so looking forward to that. I'm looking to do that on Tuesday. So definitely, if you're willing, hey, he's here. All right. Definitely, if you're willing, I definitely want you to tune in and share that experiences. We're going to see if we can. Ooh, fingers crossed. Y'all cross your fingers. Come on, technology, work with us. It says adding, 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 adding. There's a green button star. Okay, thank you, Kofi. We're working, but I am confident that it's gonna work out. And we're gonna get by Wakessa, who is traveling, by the way. He is traveling right now from South Carolina. And so I'm grateful that he is taking the time. So I'm not in any rush. Oh, look, like I see his face. I see his face on here now. Let's see here. Come on, Facebook features. Yes! Yes! I knew it would work. I knew it would work out. I said it's gonna work out. I was like staring at the phone like work.
I hear you.
Woo!
What's up, family?
Hey, Barbara, are you driving?
So good to see you.
Yes, good to see you as well. Okay. Look, I'm like, let me get it in, get ready, let's go. Because I want to make sure that we keep this connection. Okay, did you hear me good? And we can just go ahead and jump in.
Could you repeat that?
Did you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I want to put some earplugs in to make it even better.
Okay. Now, y'all, this is what Baba Wakessa does. He has an online academy, by the way, and his wife runs which is an online academy. So he is used to doing this online education.
Indeed. I hear you loud and clear. We're all together now. Thank you for your patience and everybody. I heard you incoming got some Mercury within retrograde. I also felt your faith that it would work.
So Baba, I don't know if you can get closer to the mic, but I am having a little hard time hearing your voice.
Okay, let's see is that better at all?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. All right, great.
Let's do a test one more time, Baba.
Testing 1, 2, 3. We're testing 1, 2, 3. Testing
okay.
1, 2, 3.
The volume is tremendously low.
Okay, let me see if I can do something else. What about now? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. That's better. All right.
Okay.
So we'll roll with that.
Perfect. All right, so let's just jump in. Baba, we have been talking about releasing anger, fear, resentment, guilt, pain, all that stuff that we hold on to. And one of the things that I introduced was feelings as messengers, because our feelings is what get us caught up in our feelings. And so now we sad, we mad, we scared, all those different things. Or that word that you taught me not to use, we're frustrated. And I talked about how we can unpack that frustration. And okay, now is that frustration really fear? Is it anger? What is it? What we got going on, right? And so I talked about it a little bit, but of course, I did the best that I could as a student. But I wanted you to kind of talk about the whole concept, why that's important, and how that can lead people straight to releasing those feelings that are keeping us hostage, really.
All right. It's critical that we correct this notion that, first of all, that our thinking and feeling are separate things and they're separate parts of our brain. It's just not true. And even neurologists don't say that anymore. It just continues to be in the public because it's been taught for so long as if there's a thinking part of your brain and feeling part of your brain. It's not true. Everything is connected. We think, feel, and do. Anytime I'm doing, I'm thinking and feeling. Anytime I'm feeling, I'm thinking and doing. Anytime I'm thinking, I'm feeling and doing. It's a three-legged stool. And it's important because two things. Having negative beliefs about our feeling and consider them negative actually alienates us from them. When we are alienated from our feelings, then others know more about what we're feeling than we do. And if you know more about what I'm feeling than I do, you're in charge, okay? Plus, we often say, let's say that Super Bowl commercials and everything else in America is directed to sell me something. They're directed toward my emotions. Well, if I am suppressing my emotions, then I don't know what they're doing, okay? And so it's important that I become clear, all right, about what I'm feeling, right, as opposed to suppressing. Now, I can't read a book and suppress the book at the same time. If I'm going to become a master of this text, okay, I have to open the book. Okay. Now, it's true that I don't need to suppress my thinking as well. What I need to do is have my thinking and my feeling and my doing be coordinated so that they all are together. Unfortunately, because we have been taught to alienate ourselves from our feeling selves, then we're so easily manipulated, and what that manipulation is often called being too emotional. So if someone denies me something that I really wanted and I feel sad about it, then I may respond as if I'm angry. In fact, I may feel the anger, okay? If you gave me a lie detector test, I would pass it. But in reality, I've been socialized to respond with anger when in fact I'm feeling sad, all right? And whenever I'm in any kind of relationship with anybody, trying to earn trust, whether it's an intimate relationship or whether it's a partnership or a business, whether it's a parent to child, I can't be intimate with them and I can't be authentic with them if I'm not authentic with myself. And in this case, we're not talking about trying to intentionally fool anybody. It's going along with a script that's been written that tells me as a man that I'm not supposed to show my scare. I'm not supposed to show my sadness. And guess what? After a while, I don't even know my scare. I don't know my sadness. So if in fact something happens and I'm feeling sad, I don't even know it. So I'm easily manipulated, okay, by others, and alienated and looking for a rational solution. That is, I'm looking for a cognitive-based solution. The reason I changed that is because our feelings are part. You can't separate them. So I'm looking for a cognitive-based solution that is devoid of my feelings. Now, for any of you who know my sister, Mama Maremba Ani, her book, Yoruba, really, chapter 1 is the cultural structuring of thought. It's the title of it. How culture, Eurocentric culture, has structured how we process information, how we think and how we feel, or the separation of the two. And for African people, we think, feel, we feel, think. And it's really important that we embrace that. At the same time, I know that there are problems if somebody goes off and just clocks somebody, or they, let stew and spew and they get all depressed and all of that. But that's not because we're being too emotional. It's because we're following an errant script. If I'm feeling sad, my sadness is my best friend. It tells me that I need to grieve, to let go whatever the reality that is no longer there. Okay? Whatever it was, I was in a relationship, she left me, okay? Or my car, I really loved it and somebody ran into it, okay? I was trying to get into this program with my sister, and it wouldn't work, okay? So it's really important because when I let go of the reality that is gone, that is no longer there, then I can deal with current reality, okay? And then I can go back to a powerful place. Otherwise, my power is used to maintain the delusion that I'm still holding on, or that I still have what I don't have. And I'll stop and be guided by your questions, because you know I love this. And I've worked so hard to help find ways that my people have been, you know, we say all the time, you know, the chains are not on our arms, they're on our minds. And it's true. Here's one way that it is. See, when I learned that, I'm like, okay, if you say the chains, then I got to go find it. Okay, so that we can cut it. And in this case, because our emotional responses are learned emotional responses, they're not authentic emotional responses, they're taught and injected by our oppressor, then our relationships stay all discombobulated. They don't have to worry about us because there's so much drama, you know, in our relationships. They don't have to worry about us building a sovereign nation. They don't have to worry about us wrestling business and power from them, because there's so much drama in the relationships, because there's so much unintended hurt based on being trained to be emotionally inauthentic. I'll stop right there.
Whoa, you could keep going for another hour and a half. I'm taking notes. But no, I love that you brought up the point that our thoughts and our feelings are connected, because it keeps the way we keep thinking, the beliefs we keep having, they keep those feelings and those emotions going. And I wanted you to kind of give some examples of some of the conditioned ways that people deal with emotions versus.
I can't hear you. I need you to summarize that, because I can't hear you breaking up for me.
Okay.
Mercury is working.
Can you talk about some of the conditioned ways we deal with emotions, and give some more helpful ways to deal with them?
Some of the conditioned ways we've been conditioned to respond, or in healthier ways? Yeah. Sure. First thing is, let ourselves become aware of what we're feeling. All right, and in this model that we use and have been using for years now, there are 6 primary feeling families, and they are mad, sad, scared, joyful, peaceful, and powerful. Inside those families, there are many different words. Yennenga was saying frustrated may be my frustration. Of course, when I say that, it may be different from when you say it. Is maybe a combination of mad and sad. For somebody else, it may be mad, sad, and scared. At different times for you, you might use the word frustrated and you mean just scared or just sad. It's important to know whatever word we use, which one of those feeling families is represented, and it may be more than one. The beauty of that is, when I know that, let's say it's sad and scared, then it tells me if I'm scared, I'm feeling afraid. You know, scared is not my person, scared is my feeling. And if I'm feeling afraid, then it means that there is danger. So now my job is to go and find the danger, become clear about what that danger is, and then get reassurance, protection, and support. We call it RPS for short. You know, got to give me some RPS, okay? Some reassurance, protection, and support. I can't do that if I'm suppressing the fact that I'm scared. You know, I ain't never scared. Right, me? I don't ever feel, you know, you can't admit that. Fear and faith don't occupy the same space. It's like, are you kidding me? I tell people who have a problem with, who think that fear in and of itself means that you are a fearful person, or that it's bad, or that it will mess up your liver, or whatever. It's just, you really don't think, if you think fear is something that you can live without, then just never duck again. No matter what's thrown at you, just don't duck. Okay? Because the apparatus, the feeling, you know, the message that says duck, Wakessa, all right, is one that says there is something coming at me fast, and I don't think it's a good thing for me, so I'm fearing the danger of it. Now it's not, you know, so I duck, okay? And that's an example of our feelings and our thinking working together. And that's just how they do it unless we have this injected script. All right, so let me just, we did scare, right? If I'm feeling scared or afraid, you know, those words really don't matter. If it's in that family, then it means that I need to do two things: identify the danger, and also identify the protection and support and reassurance that I need. And then I need to get it. Okay. All right. Let's say sad. If I'm feeling sad, it's important that I do what I need to do to identify the loss. Once a person told me, I was working with them, and they said, well, the loss was that their wife had died. I said, okay, that's a beginning. He said, a beginning? I said, yeah, it's a beginning. That is, what did you lose by losing your wife? I got that it was a loss to lose your wife. What was important? What did you lose? And he said, wow. I said, what did she most bring to you, most mean to you? And he identified 3 or 4 or 5 things, and it was really great because he realized that some of those things he could still access by talking to her spiritually, okay? By going to the altar and talking to her. Others of those things they could identify, he could get replacements for. I don't mean a replacement for her. But not a replacement for her, but a replacement for some of those things. So now he goes, by identifying the loss, then part of what he'd been doing is he'd been grieving and letting go, but he hadn't been clear. It was so general. And that's because he didn't identify what the losses were. When he identified what the losses were, his grieving was targeted. So he could let go of that and then become powerful in the sense of being able to have agency to get what he needed, all right? And so it was a tremendous release for him, all right? So that's sad. The message for sad is, what's the loss? And what kind of reassurance do I need? What kind of support do I need so that I can grieve? You know, Mama Fia likes the water. That helps her grieve, all right? Some people like to walk. So, find out what you need to do to grieve and let go. Some people like to be by themselves. Some people don't ever want to be by themselves when they're grieving. Whatever it is for you, find it, okay, and begin that process. The next is angry, mad feelings. Well, we got a bad name for this one, primarily because most of the anger that we deal with is actually scare or sadness where we substitute anger for it, okay? And it's really important that we change that. It's important that we know when we're angry and then ask ourselves, what's the violation? Now, if somebody just hits me in the face or comes too close, I know what the violation is. They're violating my space, and so I push them away, okay? Now, pushing away is what the next thing is to do, and that is to set limits, okay? And so once we set limits, it's or reestablish boundaries. Now, of course, in a physical situation, it's my hand goes up, but it can be anything. It can be, we made an agreement to be on a call, to go to a place, and you didn't keep the agreement. Then what I want to do is next time, if you didn't get hurt or anything like that, I want to say, okay, how about you call me ahead of time? You call me when you're there. It's figuring out how do you set limits so that I won't be violated again. All right, now that's the kind of short version of those 3. Now, of course, those aren't the only ones. There are 3 others, and they're powerful. And those are joyful, peaceful, and powerful. And believe it or not, because of oppression, we don't have a lot of permission to enjoy those. That is, if I've made my plan, I executed the plan, things are working just like I planned them for this particular meeting or for this particular relationship, is working so well that I start to say, something's gonna happen, okay? Now, literally, because I don't have permission to just enjoy what I've created and what the universe has brought me. So I reach into tomorrow, anticipate a negative consequence, bring it into now, so that I can be back into my familiar state, not my natural state, my familiar state. And that is a state of being oppressed, under oppression, anxiety, and all of that, okay? So it's really important that we also know that joy, peace, and power has also been contaminated, and we need to do our work so that we authentically feel it And when we feel joy, then the message is for us to keep on keeping on. Okay. And no, we don't have to worry about, oh God, well, I just keep on keeping on. Let's say I go to Jamaica and it's feeling so good. I'm supposed to be back in 2 weeks. I just decide I want to stay another week. Well, the problem, people worry about, oh God, you're just gonna be about joy. I'm not. I'm a whole person. As that end of that second week comes, and I think about staying the extra week, I also have some feelings of fear. Okay, right? And they're like, you got some obligations back there. You may not get paid. You got people, and so those will inform me. And what I mean by that is, instead of working to control our emotions, the key word is balance. Okay, in that situation, I'm in Jamaica. I'm enjoying it. I want to do some more. My fear feelings will say, yeah, but you got some, boom. So now there's that balance that comes. Now, of course, if I'm suppressing my emotions all over the place, I don't get the message. All right. So those are joyful, peaceful, powerful, mad, sad, and scared. It's a kind of short version. And I want everyone to know that when my thinking and my feeling work together, I am most powerful. I'm most peaceful, okay, when my thinking and my feeling work together. Mm-hmm. I'm less likely to be manipulated by this crazy manipulative society.
When your things are together. Can you hear me okay? I'm like, I need to get these questions in quick and they need to be powerful. So have you found that people get caught in their thoughts and it keeps emotions going? And what can you talk to that about that tendency to stay in your thoughts and keep emotions happening?
I heard the part of people stay in their thoughts, and what about emotions?
Keep the certain emotions that they're not wanting to feel going.
Yeah, they keep them going.
Yeah, they keep that fear there. They keep that sadness there.
Oh yes, there are, as opposed to letting it go, as opposed to doing what they need. Yes, it does happen. And it happens in a number of reasons. Sometimes the only real way for me to like hold on and be stuck in an emotion is that I put it in a substituted container. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, so let's say I'm feeling sad. I really wanted something to happen. I wanted a meeting to happen. I wanted somebody to love me, whatever. And it didn't happen like I wanted it, anticipated, wished it. The natural body process and mind process is to feel the sadness and go through a process of grieving and letting go. If I'm not ready to do that, whether it's because I've been socialized not to do it, or the script, then I will then act like it didn't matter. So I substitute power. And I'll go, all my rationalizations and all my thinking, right, will be, it didn't really matter. People don't deserve me anyway. And those kinds of thoughts and words will come because I've substituted power for it. Okay. And then I'm not grieving. I can also substitute mad. Last time I'm going to come to this city. Last time I'm going to do that. Nobody supports me. Blah, blah, blah. So now I'm acting angry about it when I'm really sad about it. But I can be angry for years about it. And people, okay, who can be, something happened, they didn't grieve it, let it go. You want to say, please let it go. It's been 4 years, 2 years. And like they still hold on to that sadness. But the way they hold on to it is they tuck it under. And so it's tucked, in this case, under a mad container or under a powerful container. Okay. And so that's one of the ways. Another is if I'm been told, if it's uncomfortable for me, and sometimes the uncomfortableness comes because of past experiences. If in my house, my father or mother just went off, whenever they talked about being mad, it was off the chart, okay? And everybody had hell to pay. Then I might decide that feeling mad and showing mad is very, very dangerous. So I decide, I'm not going to do that, because I'm telling myself that mad looks like and has to look like that. Okay, it has to look like what I saw my father do. Okay. Similarly, you can take another one. If sad always end in depression and mom was in the bed for 3 days, then I'm like, no, I don't want to deal with no sad. And then in the place of it, I will talk, about it, but I won't let myself feel it, because my experience of it is it will be too much. Okay. And that's why it's important sometimes if you're to get some support for doing it, because we're the product of our past experiences, and not just our own personal past experiences. We're the product of our ancestral experiences as well. And if we're going to be true to our ancestors, we did not separate thinking and feeling. Okay. And it's really important. In fact, you can't. I mean, you can pretend, you can try to, but literally it is impossible to do that. I'll say this about it, and then when researchers were trying to figure out what makes a memory stick, and what, as you pass everything, I've been on this highway, I've passed trees, I've passed exits, I've passed cars, which ones will I remember? Okay. Well, what makes a memory stick is emotion. If I care about getting to a destination, and this particular sign helps me to get that destination, I will remember it. The operative word is care. Okay. If I care about anything, I have feelings about it. Okay. All right. And so if we don't care about it, then we don't remember it. Okay. Our feelings, care, that care can be I'm desiring to get someplace, or care can be it's dangerous and I'm going to move away from it. The emotion is what sculpts the memory at the neurological level. Now, our ancestors have known this, and then but folks are dealing with it and learning about it now in the lab 2,000, 3,000 years late. Okay. But still, because we have been socialized by them, then we're late. Okay. Until we get back in touch with our ancestral ways. And I don't just mean patting ourselves on the back and wearing kente cloth. I mean literally beginning to walk in the shoes of our ancestors. All right. And as we do that, we will rediscover that we feel and we think and we do, and all of those is what makes us whole.
That's the connection. Okay, well, I'll end now because I don't want to interrupt you too much. But I just want you to expound on our ancestral ways of dealing with feelings and emotions. Just expound on exactly what you're saying now. We can walk in the shoes of our ancestors versus what we've been conditioned to.
Great. Well, part of the ancestral way is to think and to feel at the same time, to not decide. Our intuition, our sense of hunches, our sense of my grandmother who lived in North Carolina, her children, many of them moved to New York. One of them was my Uncle Doug. One night she calls my mother and says, Uncle Doug is someplace in a police place and they're beating him up. So mama called and found out that she was. That is our way of knowing, is not just what used to be left brain, logical, I got the data, I got the here, okay? Our intuition doesn't come through that side. Our intuition comes through our emotional side, all right? It is her connection to her son, even though he was 500 miles away, okay? That had her be able to tap into the messages, okay? Into what was happening. So it is important. We were connected, okay? I'll give you a greater connection in terms of us. Different than Europeans, Africans, before our spiritual path was contaminated by Europeans, we believed that we were a part of the Creator. We did not believe that there was this Creator up here, separate from us down here, okay? So there was, you know, I am the value, and we would say in many of our pledges, in many of our what we would do writings, I am the value God. Okay, and we didn't use the word God, and when we use that, it evokes this notion of Santa Claus or a version of Santa Claus up in the sky someplace. That particular separation, you know, is a Eurocentric separation, and it is the template for the superior inferior separation that goes on with people that they project. When I am the value God, and so are you, and so is a fear, and so is somebody else, and together collectively we are, then we are connected. Okay, you see that? So and the connection is the emotion. All right, now when we do the other way, when we say no, emotions are bad, the emotions, we got to control our emotions, or else we're going to go crazy, we're going to go whatever, or you know, we're going to do bad things, then we're separating ourselves from our emotion. If I separate myself from my emotion, then how am I connected to you, sister?
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, what do I do with the feeling I have, this respect, this admiration, this closeness I have to you? What are those, if those are not emotions? Okay? People kill me when they say, control your emotions. I'm like, which ones? You want me to control love? Suppress your emotion? Want me to, that's emotion? Is emotion only anger? You know, give me a break. So
Right.
our ancestral way was to think and feel simultaneously and not to have those be separated, okay? We're thinking, feeling, and doing. So those are just a couple of examples.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Baba. I know you're on the road. That was a lot. I want you to end with just telling people about you and what you and Mama Afia do and how people can get in contact with you and the different services you provide.
Thank you so much. My name is Wakesa Olatunji Bazimoyo. Me and my wife, Afia, are the co-directors of Aya Educational Institute. And we do things in about two broad categories. We do relationship counseling, organizational development, conflict resolution, and communication on the one side. The other side is education, middle school, high school, and adults. Our middle school and high school has been in existence for years. Well, Aya turns 21 in November, so I say Aya is grown now. Okay, we grown. And 83% of our students who graduate, because some people just take some courses, which is great for us and fine, but the students who graduate from Aya Education Institute, 83% of them, not just go to college, get a full 4-year scholarship, okay?
Oh.
So we know what we're doing, and our school is accessible online, and it's live like this, like you and I are talking, so it's not just go to a website at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's interactive. So y'all check us out at ayaed.com. Now, and we'll also be at Liberated Minds next week. We're in Virginia now, and we're going to be doing a presentation in a minute. And we'll be back in Atlanta for those who are there. For those who are not, let me just give you a quick thing out. You can go to ayaed.com/TOUR, and you will see that today we're in Richmond, tomorrow we're in Washington, D.C., we're in Baltimore the next day, we're in Philly and Newark the next day, we're in Jersey City Thursday morning, we're in Brooklyn Thursday evening, we're in Charlotte Friday, Saturday morning we're back to Liberated Minds. Okay, we are spreading the news.
Yes.
We're grown now. Okay, and for many people who care about educating their children or directing the education, because you don't have to be the teacher, but you're the director to make sure they get this and those kinds of things. And so we've learned some key things, you know, about educating our children. The 3 things we're going to talk about on this tour, we call it the African-Centered Sovereignty Education Tour, right? And that is, how do you teach our children about oppression without depressing or scaring them? It's really, really important, okay? You have to teach them about oppression, or else they're going to be blindsided and have no idea and whatever. At the same time, we have to make sure we do it in a way that we don't do more harm than good. The next is, how do you teach STEM? You know, STEM is all the rage, okay, for the last 10 years or so, except for, in our case, STEM is taught as if it's race neutral. STEM is taught if it's just math, it's just science, it doesn't have anything to do with, you know, race and whatever, that doesn't matter. Well, we show parents and educators how do you use STEM to heal cultural alienation. Because education, as it's taught, all right, alienates us from our culture and our families and our ways. The more I know English, the more how my granddaddy talked was terrible. As if you got to do that, as if you can't teach me the code switch and I can understand
Right.
his, just like I understand another language. No, the better educated I become, the more I got to move away from grandma now. So the point is, whether that's math or anything else. So part of what's key is to help heal alienation. And the other thing that usually there's what you've been hearing about feelings as messengers is part of our warriors, healers, and builders program, and it undergirds all of our education and everything we do. Please check us out. I'm with Kessa Mazimoyo, Afia Mazimoyo. We're easy to find on the internet, ayaed.com. Check us out and just take your time to peruse. No, our website doesn't keep up with what we do. Okay, so there's a lot of great stuff there, and it'll give you a sense of it. And if you want to know what's happening lately, get on our mailing list or go to our Facebook page or reach out and call us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Baba. Tell Mama Afia I said greetings. I love you all. Safe travels. Safe travels.
All right, we'll do.
Safe travels, Mama. Thank y'all for the work that you do. I really, really appreciate love you.
We should love you.
You too.
All right, peace. Okay, so.
All right, how do I get out?
Figuring out how to get off of it at this point.
We
got on. How do we get on?
We got on. We'll get on. We'll work it. All right, that's not it. That's definitely not it.
Y'all hold tight.
So I know one way we're gonna do it.
Hang tight. We're gonna end it real quick. I want to close it out formally, so just hang tight while we close out with Baba Wakesa. Wasn't that rich? Oh my goodness. And that was just a small version of what he truly offers. So let me just, all right. So, interesting. So, no, that's not it. Okay. Very strange. Oh, found. So, wasn't that just dynamic? Y'all, site does not really show everything he does, but what I can tell you is, and I said that I would share my story, and I will. I met Baba Wakesa from a corporation that I was working for, had hired him to come in and do some training for the employees and the contract workers. And it was what I guess mainstream would consider to be a communication training or maybe like management training, but he came with all of this wealth of knowledge. And I love the way his approach is, because he approaches everything from our spiritual and human side of things. And so we can't talk about organization. We can't talk about cooperative learning or being able to do teamwork and all of that if we don't talk about feelings, and we don't talk about emotions and being able to communicate our feelings. Because you're in a workplace, you got something going on with you, and you got a certain agreements that you've made with yourself and thoughts that you have. And so anytime you're feeling fear or sadness with your fellow coworkers, you're lashing out with anger. You feel like it's been some violation, when in actuality, it's some fear there. It may be some fear there. So that was powerful. Met him there. The workshops that I took there were so dynamic that I asked him for his contact information, and I solicited him to do some training or counseling with myself and my son, because my son was coming of age, and here I am, was this overbearing parent. This was before I was really in tune, with vibrations and spirit and all that stuff. And I was this overbearing parent who was parenting from a space of fear. I know I was. I admit that I was parenting from a place of fear. And so I would be angry a lot with my son, and I didn't like that. Like you said, he used one of the examples, like if you're that mom, or you had a mom who was always angry, always fussing, always, this tension, I didn't want to be that mom. And I know that I was, after I took
his workshop and really understood my feelings, I realized that I was ruling from a place of fear. And so that workshop and that counseling that I took, it really helped me to reconcile my feelings. It helped my son to communicate, because I asked for the counseling, or I solicited the counseling, because I felt that my son was dealing with a lot of stress and didn't communicate it, or didn't communicate his feelings well. And so I wanted support. And in turn, what it helped both of us to do is to understand our feelings and help us to be able to deal with our feelings in a way that brings it to balance. So now, I mean, we took some counseling for a few sessions, and you know, the impact has just been outstanding. Our parent totally different. You know, our relation, my son and our relationship is a great relationship. You know, we communicate with each other. I still get angry sometimes. But it's from violations. You know, it's not because I'm fearful or I'm sad. And when there is a violation, I stop myself and check in with ego, making sure, you know, what am I, you know, is it fear? Is it this? Is it that? Checking in with my feelings. And before I even address it, I'm coming into a balance with myself first. And then usually when I do that, it brings a whole lot off of the surface that I would have projected on my son beforehand if I didn't have this knowledge, or I didn't have this counsel. And so it takes all of that off of it, and then I'm addressing him from just face, like, the honest truth in whatever the situation is. And usually when that happens, when I'm doing it that way, I'm no longer angry when I'm addressing it, you know. So then I'm alleviating this whole habit of parents to project onto their children and really react in a way that's not even really what they're wanting to relate. They're just relating anger. So that's my story, you know, on how him and his wife, their work has been just so empowering in our lives. They're doing a lot of work, like as they said, around the country. Definitely here in Atlanta, they're doing a lot of work, and their school teaches and educates from that perspective of, we are real deal spiritual beings having human experience. We have feelings, we have emotions, we have culture, we have connection, we have our ancestors to lead the way. And that's how they educate from that perspective, everything they do. So definitely check him out. Thank you all for staying tuned. This video will be posted on YouTube. It will also stay in the Living Intentionally with Queen Yenn's group. And on my page, of course. And also, before this happened, we had another video that was a recap of of the 30-day challenge. We recapped what we talked about throughout this 30 days, as we have been journeying through this healing process of releasing anger, fear, shame, guilt, all of these different things that are keeping our heart chakras and other chakras out of alignment and keeping us in this holding pattern with our healing and what we're wanting to manifest in life. You know, a lot of times we feel stuck, we feel stagnant, we feel like, man, what is happening here? I just don't feel like I'm living my highest self. And so by all means, many times it's because we're holding on to vibrations, feelings, and all these different things, and that's keeping it in our way. And we've been able to, throughout this 30 days, have several perspectives. Mine, you know, the brother Edward Phelps, who came on for the second week, now Baba Wakesa. So I'm so happy we were able to just reason about this, because I think this is what we are lacking. We're not, in my experience, I can only talk about my experience, you know, growing up in those pivotal years where we learn our behaviors and we establish our beliefs and all these different things. Feelings are not spoken about, you know. As children, we couldn't really express our feelings. And a lot of times those feelings end up being anger or sadness, depression, all those different things, because we're not able to communicate, you know. And throat chakra off, heart chakra off, we're holding on to sadness, fear, anger. We're also, as Baba Wakesa said, conditioned to deal with our feelings in certain ways that are not healthful. And so it takes, I think this 30-day challenge was really a powerful way to just reason about feelings, emotions, memories, all this type of things in different ways. We talked about it in chakras and how to look at it from a chakras perspective, meaning energetically, you know, how feelings are impacting our energy and how that radiates off of us. We talked about it from an ego perspective, like, you know, our human self and our spiritual self meeting, you know, in the middle, like, and the effort being to how to balance, you know, what my ego is telling me, you know, or how my ego is feeling in spirit, you know, and Baba Kessa talked about that, how your thinking and feelings and heart and intuition all has to work together. You know, you have to be able to, in the moment, while you having emotions that may be connected to your ego, which may be connected to some judgment and all this belief systems and all of that stuff, in the moment, can you still balance that out with what your intuition is telling you? You know, what is, so we can bring a balance so we're not being caught up in the whirlwind of our emotions. So instead of trying to control our emotions, we're creating a relationship with our emotions so we're able to reconcile and bring a balance. So I think this was just a beautiful way to do this. I really loved it. This is our last week. You know, this was the last chat. This is our last 2 days, actually. We have 2 more days, and that would be 30 days that we're focusing in and being intentional about releasing these things. So tomorrow, I'm going to come on live again tomorrow, and we are going to do a inner child meditation. We're going to do an inner child meditation. Just stay tuned to the time that's going to be. But I'm going to be in the Living Intentionally with Queen Yenn Facebook group. We're going to do inner child healing because a lot of the trauma that we deal with definitely began in our childhood. Even if it wasn't any like violent type of trauma, even if it was just some things that are small that just kind of stuck with us, some beliefs that we have taken on about ourselves or about the world. Or just you know, some of the things is really rooted in our childhood, and I hesitate to say deep rooted because that gives this idea or this notion or this vibration that it's going to be hard to release it, but it's not. You know, it's really not. It's just focusing in on it, you know, using the strategies, tools, or whatever we need to use in order to release those hurts, that trauma, those vibrations from your childhood that doesn't really meet in alignment with your highest self of today, you know, because we only have the present moment. It's it. That's it. It's a wrap. Everything else is done. We only have the present moment. So tomorrow we're doing that, July 21st, tomorrow. Wait a minute. Oh, Lord. No. Okay, I'm tripping. Sorry. Scratch that. If you're watching this replay, sorry, I'm looking at it wrong. This week, we are going to be, okay, so that's the following week. So this week, we are going, wait a minute. Am I on the right time? July 14th. This is July 14th, right. And so this one is that. Okay, great. Okay, cool. I'm back together again. So we're going to do that inner child one next Monday. And then we're going to conclude next Monday. This was just our last chat. So what I want us to do as homework this week is to go back over the homework that we had throughout this challenge. Anything that you have not done throughout the challenge, if you did not get that heart chakra meditation and do some of that heart chakra healing work via meditation, email me at info@queenyenn.com. Make sure you get that meditation. If you did not do your ego work, where you are identifying your labels and seeing if there are any agreements that you have with yourself right now regarding your health, your wealth, relationships, anything, food, anything, make sure you identify that and create some new, I call it book of laws, your own book of laws, your personal book of law. Create some new agreements with yourself that is in alignment of your higher self, right? Let me give you an example. I had a belief before regarding my health. I had a belief that, you know, in order to really like get your health together, lose weight, all those different things, you have to diet, right? Listen to that root word, die. You have to diet, which was a whole lot of resistance. It was a whole lot of trying to stay away from something, running away. And you know, with resistance, whatever you resist persists. So that's why diets fail, because you are denying yourself. You just keep resisting. My mind, my agreements, my belief, my thoughts shifted around that and said, getting healthy, losing weight, and all those different things is not about denying yourself. It's about giving yourself, providing yourself great food, nutrients, herbs, working out, all this. So I stopped focusing on what I shouldn't eat and started focusing on and learning about what I should eat. What activities should I do? What kind of yoga can I do? What can I do? Instead of keeping my brain on what I should not do. And I'm just giving one example of how my beliefs shifted. And now I'm able to be in alignment with getting healthy and staying healthy. And it becomes sustained then. And now it becomes a lifestyle that you enjoy. You do not enjoy a lifestyle of starving yourself or denying yourself and all those different things. And then as I shifted that belief and began to walk in that belief, which is in alignment with what I desire, which is to be healthy, optimally healthy, with all three bodies, my spiritual body, emotional body, and physical body, a lot fell away. My emotions about how my health is currently moved away because now I felt more in tune with myself, and I felt like I'm progressing, and I felt like I'm not denying myself, and I'm not this person that this person that has to deny everything in order to be healthy. My lifestyle began to naturally just move me away from things that I should not have. So it's not a resistance piece. I didn't even have the desire. You don't feel a resistance or anything like that if you don't have a desire. So I'm grateful of that. So many things happen when you just shift the way you think about things or shift your beliefs. So if you have not yet really taken an assessment of your life, remember, we're taking advantage of this Mercury retrograde period. This Mercury retrograde is a perfect time to do this kind of work because it's a beautiful time to reflect, to redo, to reconcile, to refresh, to rejuvenate. It's a beautiful time. The energy is just primed for that right now. So sit down, stop making excuses, take the time to assess your life and see what do you need to shift your thoughts about? What do you need to shift your beliefs about? What kind of thinking should you have that is more in alignment to what you're really desiring, right? So that was another one of the things. So the heart chakra meditation, you don't have it, make sure you email me. Also identifying those labels that we have put on ourselves, or agreements or beliefs or agreements that we have made with ourselves, releasing the judgment. Also, excuse me, as LaTanya had mentioned, we had that activity where you have, I think I have it, let me see. I'm pretty sure I have it on my clipboard. Let's see. Yes. Where you draw, don't laugh. Anyway, this is yourself. As a matter of fact, this one is a better description. This is you. Disregard this right here. I was talking about energy centers and how they flow. This is you, and then you have your outside realm, and tuning into yourself and writing words to describe who you really feel like you are at your highest being, your pure positive energy self. Who are you, And then identify and relate and write out, those things about you that have been placed on you. Because remember, we were born into this physical realm as what some call pure positive energy. We didn't carry, we didn't have anything to be fearful of or angry. That's why 2-year-olds are like, I can jump off this gazebo. My son jumped off a freaking gazebo when he was like 4. I was like, what? No fear. Like, it's no fear. Like, of course I can, we didn't have any fear. We didn't have any worry. We didn't hold grudges. Things would happen. Friends would do things to us when we was 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. The next day we're hanging out with them. We don't even remember it, and or we'll do things, make mistakes, and people try to punish us, but we wasn't even holding on to that. It's like, that's gone. What are you talking about? That's why parents get upset, because they be trying to keep punishing their children. Children just like, I'm done with that. That's all. That's over and done with. But the point being, identify that pure positive energy so you can resonate with the pure positive energy versus all of these things being placed upon you in this physical experience that we're carrying, you know. So within this circle, I wanted you to write words to describe your pure positive energy self. Your highest self is peace. What is your highest self vibrating on, you know? And then identify those things that you are carrying on you so you can release them. Beautiful. If you haven't done this, do this and bring it to the full moon meditation on Tuesday so that we can burn it or, you know, cut it off and burn it, you know, keep our pure positive self, keep that, you know. I think I'm going to do that actually. I'm going to take it when you all join for the full moon meditation, which you need to be joining. Make sure you join this Tuesday, full moon, thunder moon is full moon. We're going to cut around this, keep our pure positive energy and release all of those things that we have taken upon ourselves and created these agreements about our lives and ourselves that are not helpful. You know, they are not productive. And so, yeah, take this week to replay the videos. If you missed any, replay them. They're on YouTube. They're also in the group. Do the homework that has been given. If you haven't purchased, if you haven't checked out the bundle yet, make sure you check that out. We have people, you know, really is popping. You know, you all are talking about it, but go ahead and snatch up the bundle because the bundle is this price that I'm offering the bundle for is only for 30-day challenge participants. After this challenge is up, the price is going up and eventually it's going to go to its regular price. And so you want to go ahead and capture that now. And in the bundle, you get the course, you get my book, A Different Kind of Living, you get Edward Phelps' book, Freedom, Choice, Power, and you also get a gemstone set. So it's like unbeatable, hands down. You're not going to find that anywhere. And this course that is launching in August, you really want to have access to this course. It is powerful. I'm so grateful to be able to be in tune and align with so many people that's helping me to grow, helping me to tune into my work and expand. And so this course is definitely going to be a reflection of that for sure. We're going to cover some different topics, some beautiful topics that I'm going to be talking about coming up. And as we're working on it, I'm going to be doing some different things to give you more insight on what that course is covering. But I tell you one thing, we're definitely talking about attachments, how to release attachments, the importance of that and how to do that, and give you simple ways on how to do that, how to address when you actually release attachments and start to detach. You're going to get some problems coming up. People going to be mad about that. People going to think, oh, you being nonchalant, or you don't care no more, or how you going to think like that, and blah, 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 blah. We're going to give you some ways to deal with that and share my story on how my process of detaching as a parent, as a sister, as a daughter, as a this, as a that, my process of detachment and the struggles that I dealt with and how I dealt with that and how I continue to have healthy relationships as I detached. Because sometimes when we are doing this spiritual work, when we're working on ourselves, we're doing this personal development, we lose people, we lose things, you know, and it's like it could be rough. And sometimes people revert back to their unhealthy self because they feel like they're losing everything. And that's just a part of it, you know, it's just a part of how it goes, you know. But knowing how to deal with it and work with, I think that's an important topic that maybe is missed when people are doing the work. So that's just one lesson out of the 5 lessons that's going to be covered. So that's going to be powerful. And Ed and I are going to be doing some live videos to talk about the course and everything. But grab the bundle now. I'll put the link in the caption so that you can get more information about. And again, it's at the price now. It is going to only be there until this challenge is over. So snatch it up while you can at that very low price that you're basically getting several things for free, pretty much. So snatch it up because I'm really excited about that course. I know it's going to be powerful. I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all for real. See you all next. We're gonna get back on next. That's the next time we're gonna hop on is next Monday. We're going to do an inner child meditation. And then on Tuesday, we are going to hopefully we're going to be able to get some people on to share their experiences and their testimonials. All right. Love y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. See you when I see ya. Peace.